Hello and welcome back to me changing my entire art process because I just didn't feel up for it this week. I've had a little bit of a fever, real minor, but I've just kind of felt tired. So tired. So I wanted to keep productive. I didn't want to take a week off, although I did think about it because I'm really bad at getting back into habits once I stop them. And so I thought about what could I do? What would I feel okay doing? And I just felt like the only thing that was really stopping me was that I really did not want to do line art this week. I just didn't. I tend to obsess over it and do a lot with it, and it takes forever, and it's stressful sometimes. And I just did not feel up for it. So I was going to do more of a digital painting style because I felt that was more manageable. It would be more calming for me. And yeah, it's real crooked right now. I'm gonna fix it. I swear. I miraculously remembered that I should flip my canvas, and I never do, but I did this time, and I'm so glad. Because I was, like I said, tired, sickly. I'm blaming it on the fever brain. Is what I'm gonna blame all my art flaws on for the next week or so again. So next week, watch me also try and blame it on that. But it probably won't be. Hopefully it'll be good and I won't have to. I'll be like, this is my true talent. It's at that point, a little while ago actually, I realized I needed to stop detailing the shoulders because I needed to give him clothes or else it would be kind of awkward if I didn't know what I wanted him to wear. So I just put clothes on him. They're probably pajamas, honestly, knowing this character. I can't imagine them wearing that out and about, but they're night clothes. So that's my excuse for why they look bad. So here I am adding more shading to the face because I wanted to just do a sketch and then skip line art. So I wanted it to be a really nice sketch though. And there I do it. That's the moment of truth right there. I'm like, can I just pull it into shape? And then I was like, no, I have to be a proper artist and do stuff and actually make edits that make sense. I do pull some stuff into shape, but I mean, that's why you do stuff digitally. It's so that you don't have to cry when you make mistakes. There's a few more stuff I adjust later on, but here I'm on the hair, and the hair is on a separate layer above the rest of the layers, which is going to be obvious because I do a paint over of everything else after I colored in, and I don't paint over the hair, because it turns out okay. So another thing of my kind of what I was thinking about after I was like, okay, I can't do line art, just emotionally, and I didn't want to just feel like defeated. I didn't want to feel like I didn't accomplish something worth like valuing and just kind of gave up. So I did want to challenge myself in some way. And the way I decided to challenge myself is I decided I was going to try and do that whole, from a distance it looks really neat, but then you zoom in and it looks like messy. I never do that because I'm really a perfectionist and I have all kinds of problems leaving anything messy. And it's stressful, but I have to. I can't stop. So I decided to try and stop that, at least for once. And maybe just live life and enjoy it. So I wanted to kind of leave some messiness. So I leave his hair similar to that. I think I put an undercolor under it. So going for colors now, but I kind of just added a color in the background because I felt like if it was on white, it would look too incomplete. And when I was thinking about colors, this is like a defined character, so I knew what I was going to do with his eye color. It was going to be kind of a very red, purpley color, but very dark. So I kind of built all the colors around that. So like the line color from the sketch actually wasn't black. It was a very, very dark, desaturated purple. But here I am with a multiply layer, adding a more vibrant purple because I felt like it wasn't fun colors. they were kind of boring colors. And now I'm adding a little bit more kind of blushing, I think, and some highlights. I also did the thing that I've done a few times and I love to look up, but I never remember to do, where I add kind of orange to the skin where the light meets the shadow on the multiply layer. So that's why you see some orange. Now I'm going on to kind of the eyes, whites of the eyes. Oh, here I'm starting to paint over. So this is just a layer on top of the sketch, but underneath the hair. And I'm just color picking. And this entire time I used 2 brushes technically, but they're kind of one brush. So I'm using the default round brush. And then in the past I made a copy of that, and I only changed the taper setting so that it's both opacity and taper when it's pressure. So the pressure sensitivity is both. God, I got distracted mid-sentence, huh? And so for most of it, I just used the default, and that's what I'm using here. I'm just color picking and using the round brush, and making it work. And I struggled a lot with the forehead, and I'm glad we're past it because it's just such a wide open space where it's relatively flat in color, and I just struggled. So here you can tell what I'm talking about a bit more with leaving it somewhat messy close up, where it's not super blended out. I think a big part of the reason I struggled with the forehead is I was fighting the urge to blend everything perfectly, and here I'm kind of more into what I wanted to do, and I've kind of let that go a little bit. I'm kind of just moving around and showing up things. Part of the reason I did this on a separate layer is that it's less stressful for me if I know it's like non-destructive. So if I hate the paint over, I can get rid of it at any time, and it would not affect what I had before I started the paint over, which is really great for stress. Because, again, I'm trying something new, and whenever you're trying something new, there's a lot of fear to go with it, at least if you're me. So I wanted to leave an out for myself. So here I'm kind of getting the shadows where I want them, cleaning things up. And he has kind of dark shadows under his eyes. So I wanted to make those stand out. And here I'm coming up to his mouth, which is, I think, maybe the best mouth I've painted in years. And I don't know why it turned out so great, but I'm saying it's natural talent. No, it's just, I feel like this style really works well with like lips, because I overthink them a lot. And it was nice to just mush. Like, this is the closest to like actually painting I felt working digitally, because it's been a while since I've painted. I was missing it, and I didn't think this would scratch that itch, but it kind of did, like especially around the mouth area. Although again, his forehead was just misery. But I'm leaving the neck a little looser because, like, again, it's like it's not the focus, it's not his face, and I can get away with it. And then I'd kind of just go over really quickly his clothing because I wanted it to stylistically match. Like, I didn't want it to look unfinished compared, but it wasn't important. Again, they're just pajamas. It's not a fashion statement. I just needed him to have clothes. So here I'm adding that color behind the hair so that it looked a little more like actual hair. And this is the second paint over layer on top of the old one, but still under the hair, where I'm doing it for the eyebrows and the eyelashes. And it's just pulling stuff out. I couldn't decide how I wanted to do his lower eyelashes, but I went for a more realistic look in the end. And you're gonna see me make a decision and then hate it immediately in a little bit. Yeah, I add waterline and I was like, oh, it's way too much, so I just leave a tiny little bit of it in the end, and then I do the paint over on the first paint over layer. So this is lower than the eyes. the eyelashes. Now I add shines, and that's about it. Thank you. And if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. I finally succeeded at being a YouTube person and saying that. I'm proud of myself, even though it's a little pathetic. Goodbye.